Good, happy Monday evening, October 25th, 2021. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Monday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news and weather to get to this Monday evening, so let's get started right now. First up, rain lashes the Pacific Northwest in a phenomenon known as a bomb cycle. Let's take a listen to that video from CBS News.
What I think makes good style is just being really true to yourself. You have your vintage people, you have your high-end.
We start on the West Coast. That's in California, which is seeing some of its worst weather in years. Forecasters call it a bomb cyclone that has already blasted the Pacific Northwest, killing 2 people. In Northern California, some streets are underwater or covered by mudslides in areas burned by the summer wildfires. Radar shows how much rain there is, up to 10 inches falling in just 24 hours. Our lead national correspondent, David Begnaud, is in Carmichael, California, just east of Sacramento. David, good morning.
Good morning to you. What we're seeing right now is water receding pretty rapidly. That's the good news. No major damage to property or people. But let me tell you, this storm has lived up to everything they said it would be in terms of rainfall and how much they get. This Sacramento area hadn't had rain in more than 200 days. They just set an all-time record.
It has been a monster storm, uprooting trees, flooding rivers in Northern California, and turning creeks into mud-filled rivers. In San Rafael, just north of San Francisco, there were more than 300 calls for help from fire or police. That's 4 times what it is normally. Across the region, officials say they may not know the full extent of the damage in those burn areas until later today.
With the rains and winds coming through, it's anyone's guess on what's going to occur.
Now look at this. That big truck was almost pushed over by strong winds on a bridge just north of San Francisco. And on the world-famous Golden Gate Bridge, gale force winds actually caused vibrations that created this eerie whistle that you could apparently hear for miles. Listen. Farther inland, a substantial landslide shut down this major highway in the same area as this summer's massive Dixie Fire that happened just north of Sacramento. Closer to Sacramento, in the town of Carmichael, there were roads underwater as of late Sunday. More than 5 inches of rain fell in California's state capital, breaking the previous record that was set back in 1880. Meanwhile, up in Washington state, this road east of Seattle was closed after a tree fell and crushed a vehicle, killing 2 people.
All I can think about right now are their families. Something like so random is just awful.
So the rain will stop here shortly. Southern California will feel the impacts later today, but the rain will be much less in terms of the amounts falling down there. Just to give you an idea for context, rain is such a big deal here because they get it so little. I remember I was a local news reporter here. My very first day on the job, they said, "You're going to cover the rain." And I said, "The rain? You actually cover the rain here? We cover rain in Louisiana, where I'm from, when you get a hurricane." And they said, "Oh, no, when it rains here, it's a big story." So you can imagine when you get a rain that sets a record, it's not only a big story, but folks here are very happy to see it. Tony.
No, it's huge, David. 200 days without rain and then a record-setting day. Thank you very much. Stay dry if you can. Sounds like you will be able to.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Democrats close to agreement on spending bill. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC CBS News.
At Capella University, we know the world is pretty smart.
Wicked smart.
So we made FlexPath smart enough that
Democrats are close to a long-awaited deal on President Biden's social spending agenda, according to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Sources tell CBS News that Pelosi plans a final vote on a bipartisan infrastructure bill as soon as Wednesday, after Democrats reach an agreement on the president's Build Back Better plan. Weijia Jiang is at the White House. Weijia, good morning.
Good morning to you, Nate, and good morning, everybody. President Biden is now more personally engaged than ever, even inviting Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and key player Senator Joe Manchin to his Delaware home on Sunday to huddle. Pressure is building to seal the deal before the president heads abroad on Thursday for two big summits with world leaders.
I think we're pretty much there now.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Democrats could reach a deal by the end of the week to pass a nearly $2 trillion package with the heart of President Biden's domestic agenda on the line.
We've 90% of the bill agreed to and written. We just have some of the last decisions to be made.
The measure is expected to include free universal pre-K, expanded Medicare, and at least 4 weeks of paid family leave, as well as environmental measures. But Democrats still can't agree on how to pay for it. Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema rejected a proposal to increase taxes on corporations and on Americans earning more than $400,000.
She voted against the Trump tax cuts, and I just don't understand why she's not willing then to raise some of the rates back to what they were.
The White House is floating a tax on billionaires, as well as a 15% corporate minimum tax to close any loopholes allowing companies to pay less. Democrats also have to nail down policies to reduce emissions after West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin refused to support a clean electricity program that was critical to the president's climate agenda.
It weakens Joe Biden's hands in Glasgow, the climate meeting that's coming up. Because if we're going to get the rest of the world to take serious steps to remedy this problem, we've got to do it ourselves.
And it's not just other countries judging President Biden. High-stakes governors' races are viewed as a referendum on his performance as well. Today, he heads to New Jersey to sell his social spending package before campaigning in Virginia tomorrow. Tony?
A lot of selling going on. We'll see who's buying soon. Leisha, thank you very much.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. U.S. Postal Service beefs up staff facilities to combat shipping crisis. Let's take a listen to that video from NBC News.
Welcome to Fiona's Flowers. Business is blooming. They chose State Farm Small Business Insurance because their local agent is a small business owner too. So we're in their corner and on it. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This morning, the nation's mail system making a major push to deliver packages on time this holiday season. The United States Postal Service announcing plans to add 45 new facilities, 112 new mail sorting machines, and 40,000 additional seasonal workers. All of it in an effort to handle more than 50 million packages a day. That's a 35% increase from last year. It's a big goal for the Postal Service, which has been plagued by delays throughout the pandemic.
The delivery is just mystical as to when things arrive where.
Mail is slow. I mailed a package to California that took about a month to get there.
Amazon, FedEx, and UPS are also hiring thousands of seasonal workers to deal with the expected record holiday rush. But some small business owners are questioning whether it will be enough to offset major supply chain issues. Thea Brown is the owner of a popular toy store in Richmond, Virginia.
I am worried that we might have to disappoint some people, not only this holiday, but it's not going to magically go away at the first of the year.
From ports to trucks to warehouses, labor shortages, lack of capacity, and congestion are wreaking havoc on a supply chain still recovering from pandemic shutdowns. And over the weekend, disaster when 40 containers fell into the Pacific Ocean when a ship was hit by rough seas off the coast of Washington State. Later, containers on that same cargo ship, including 2 carrying hazardous materials, catching fire on board, according to the Canadian Coast Guard. The incident, just another disruption to the ongoing global jam. Here in the U.S., Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis is suggesting container ships reroute to ports in his state to help alleviate the strain on California's ports.
Some ships they're docked for an extra 5 weeks So it'll take them an extra week to go around the Panama Canal. So you're gaining some efficiency and time there.
Kerry, let's go back to Governor DeSantis' suggestion there that those ships get rerouted. Are there any potential trade-offs to that approach?
Well, there are, it sounds so easy to say to do this, but logistics experts say, sure, you can have the ships head and come to Port of Miami, Port Everglades, and Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville, up to Savannah, Georgia, where they have big ports and capacity. For instance, here in Miami, there are no ships in offloading this morning. Last ship left at 3 this morning. So it could be done. But once the containers are here, then you have the problem of getting them on the trucks, on the trains to go to their final destinations. That is all being looked at by logistics experts right now, who also point out that this supply chain issue may have revealed what is a little bit of an Achilles heel, that 40% of all containers that arrive in the United States come into the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. And that's something that maybe we've had too much reliance on when we see the problems that we're currently dealing with.
All right. Kerry Sanders for us there.
Okay, there you
Thanks
go.
for watching our YouTube channel.
There you go on that video and that report. And let's switch gears now and let's take a look at the weather across the United States for this evening. In Boston, 52 degrees with rain. New York City, 62 degrees with rain and thunderstorms. Washington, D.C., 60 degrees with rain. In Jacksonville, Florida, 68 degrees. Tampa Bay, Florida, 74 degrees. And Miami, Florida, 75 degrees. Dallas, 69 degrees. Houston, 73 degrees. New Orleans, 67 degrees. In Phoenix, 61 degrees. Las Vegas, 53 degrees. Los Angeles, 50 degrees. And San Francisco, 52 degrees. That's a look at the weather across the United States for this Monday evening. And that is it for this Monday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching, and I'll see you back here tomorrow evening for another newscast. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Have a great rest of your evening. Good night and goodbye.